So my story of inclusion happens towards my government, and I come from Guangzhou, which is one of the largest city in mainland China. And according to that, our mother tongue language is just Cantonese. It is same with Hong Kong and with Macau. But for some reason, the main reason is actually because the promotion of Mandarin policy published by the Chinese mainland government in 2004. Um, the reason of that is they want to promote a unifying language to able to control their citizens into restricting their minds by not including too much Cantonese in their systems. They wouldn't able to communicate with each other with language that northern people would understand. And speaking of that, in our schools, we weren't able to speak Cantonese. Teacher will be scolding at us if they found out we were speaking in Cantonese, which is communicating in our own language. They would recognize us as being um, unobeying to the school law, which is unobeying to the national law. In that case, we wouldn't have the ability to communicate in our mother tongue, able to understand our culture, and being eliminated by our own ancestors. In this way, I was being an exclusion example in my culture. The Chinese mainland government was doing that because they want to segregate and eliminate any culture that was disobeying theirs. They want to unify the nation by unifying the language for the first step. Able to unifying the language, which means they're able to unifying the thoughts. Cantonese was being published 2,000 years ago by the kingdom of Nanyue. In this way, they have been segregated 2,000 years ago with the northern kingdom. Therefore, they went south and published their own laws and own language, which is the original beginning of Cantonese. Nowadays, our ancestors, our grandparents, our parents speak Cantonese, but in our generation, almost half of them cannot speak fluent Cantonese. Actually, according to BBC China, in interviewing, half of the Guangzhou city kids cannot speak fluent Cantonese because they actually lost and loses the urges to learn because they don't think Cantonese is no longer necessarily. In this case, I think it's super sad because our exclusion from our language was actually being published and reinforced by the authority.